a bird, and it smelled like cheese. Thank you for coming, Period. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I have tried this a few times. Boone has come in. I don't even know what's going to be on the screen. I'm writing. I'm talking. But let's go ahead and get started. We stopped class last time talking about the anticipated inflation in those that are helped, and the unanticipated inflation which hurt society. All right. So we have people that are hurt, unanticipated, which is what we're going to talk about right now. So let's talk about who is hurt. Number one, we have our fixed, income, and I'm sorry if you hear the pen hitting the screen. Let's see if I can make it a little larger. All right, fixed income, and what happens with this is the fixed income receivers. Okay, so these receivers have a level of purchasing power. Okay, they have a level of purchasing power with fixed income. Okay, now as an investor, I want fixed rates because, as you know, that helps the borrower. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the level of purchasing power, so my fist. Okay, as with inflation. Okay, so with inflation, as prices, all right, increase with inflation. Okay, so as prices increase, incomes will fall because it has to do with the purchasing power. Okay, so that has to do with the purchasing power there. All right, and then number two, those that are hurt, that's the savers. That's me. I am a hoarder, a saver hoarder. Okay, after the Great Depression, those that didn't want to put their money in the bank because they lost everything that they had, so they didn't want to put the money back in the bank, but they're actually being hurt by saving the money. And of course, this is without investing. Okay, because if you're not investing, you're not earning interest, so the money just kind of stays the same. And it's good to have a lot of money. I don't want to contradict myself by saying, we have everything we need. But if you're a saver, that's good. But without investing, this says investing, believe it or not, what happens is as prices increase, your purchasing power falls because the dollar won't be worth as much if there's no interest being attached to that. Okay, and then finally, who is hurt? And those are the creditors. Okay, and you think, how can a bank, be hurt? The lenders, specifically, these are lenders. How can a bank be hurt with, by inflation? Well, if the bank gives me money, okay, and at a fixed interest rate, let's say it's 5%, and inflation rises by 5%, the creditor, the lender, is not going to get as much back. They're getting fewer dollars based on the inflation rate by lending it to me at a fixed interest rate. Okay, so the creditors, the lenders, are hurt because of the fewer dollars, and that probably rings a bell to you. So I just did a preview of the last slide before I send it out. I'm not going to rewrite it or overwrite it or anything. Why didn't you guys tell me how chubby my face was? And I got my beats in. I'm super cool. Okay? So those that are hurt by inflation, we've talked about, and then those that are helped by inflation as well. I have my notes here. Those are, number one, those that are helped. These are helped, okay, by inflation. So these are the anticipated ones. These are flexible income. Okay, I'm just going to put flex. Flex income, all right, which is the opposite of fixed income. Their income kind of goes up and down. Okay, but how can that help? Help society is what I'm trying to say. If you recall, last few class periods ago, one day last week, we talked about how the Bureau of Labor Statistics adjusts Social Security benefits for those that receive Social Security based on inflation. So that is the best example of this. So with flex income, for example, the BLS adjusts income based on inflation. So you're not receiving fewer dollars. Your cost of living per se is keeping up with inflation. So they are helped because inflation is anticipated in this scenario. I should say inflation. So your cost of living is keeping up with that. Whereas a fixed income, uh, it's not adjusted. So what you make is what you make forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay, I've got a cough. It might be loud. Excuse me. All right. The second type are the debtors. Okay, so again, this is the opposite of the lenders. So the debtors, and these are the borrowers. Okay, I preach that it's not good to be in debt and everyone should be debt free. That's my personal opinion. But in times of inflation, borrowers are helped because they actually would end up paying back fewer dollars. Pay back, and of course they pay back the lenders. Pay back fewer dollars, okay, because of inflation, and that's why the inflation has to be anticipated. And we're going to do a problem on that. There is a slide, but we're going to really focus on that problem in class tomorrow instead of trying to work it out on the screen and all that. So pay back fewer dollars because of inflation. All right. I know my eyes are going up and down. I really hope you are understanding this. Okay, on this slide, don't forget, we're going to do a problem in class when it comes to anticipated inflation, nominal return, and things like that. So we're just going to skip on. All right, redistribution affects other redistribution issues. Did I skip a slide? No, I didn't. I did. It's the anticipated. I'm sorry. The anticipated. All right. And then again, with cost push inflation and real output, this actually reduces the output and redistributes a decreased level of real income. Okay. So it reduces output because prices cause the inflation to rise. Even higher. I hope that makes sense from the supply side. So reduces output and redistributes a decreased level of real income. Okay, so we know real versus nominal. One's adjusted for inflation and one is not. So real income there. So if we were to, I'm going to draw a little graph here. Draw a demand graph. I'll do colored lines. Now they have the option. So that's my demand graph. So what happens is the quantity demanded, okay, decreases. Okay, the quantity demanded. So what that means, I'm loving all these colors. So what that means is with quantity demanded, okay, it shifts on the curve. Okay, it does not cause the it does not cause the line to shift. That's a no. No. Okay, that's not good. All right, so cost push allows the redistribution of a price level to decrease your real income. Okay, so as prices rise, and when prices rise, the quantity demanded, if you look at that graph there, the quantity demanded changes, not the demand, because price doesn't affect the curve. Remember that, okay? Does inflation affect outputs? And that would be this slide. If inflation affects the output, that is the demand side of that. This is an argument. I took my yellow away. This is an argument between economists. Okay. I bet my handwriting is awful that you're looking at. So on page 607, it gives some great examples of that. I'm not going to read through those. So go to 607 and read those examples that have to do with demand pull, inflation, and output. All right, and then finally, the last thing in this is hyperinflation. Okay, and we know that hyperinflation is extraordinarily rapid increases in prices, and we have seen a very great video from that professor at Furman talking about hyperinflation. We talked about Argentina. We watched Madonna, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. So again, this is extraordinary, rapid inflation. Um, and of course, it can be devastating to GDP, which is our main measurement of growth. So if it's devastating to GDP, it's going to, of course, affect inflation. Okay. Of course, it's going to affect inflation, and my pen just stopped working, by the way. Let me see if I can get it back. All right, here we go. No, not. It affects inflation and also, because it's in the word, and unemployment as well. And my pen stopped working at the exact time it needed to because that's all that I have. Again, hyperinflation, we know 50% or more. Greece is very famous for that recently. Okay, read, watch the lecture, problems tomorrow. Peace out.